Welcome to the Live Wicks Talk Show, a place where real conversation sparks inspiration. Join us as we dive into real stories, creativity, and moments that shapes us. Let's get into it.
We welcome you to Live Wicks. We want you down here on the show. We welcome you to Live Wicks. We want you down here on the show. Just take a minute, come down and interview on the show. Oh yeah. Just take a minute, come down and be a part of the show. Oh yeah.
Welcome back to the Live Wicks Talk Show. Today, we've got a powerful conversation lined up with a leader who's making serious impact in the space of personal and professional development. I'm joined today by Mr. Montez Jones, the founder of TJTS Leadership Training and Development. Mr. Montez, glad to have you on the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
How's it going, man?
Greatly appreciate it.
Man, honor and a privilege to have you on the show, and thank you for taking the time and coming out and gracing us with your presence, man.
Absolutely.
So, how you been, man?
I've been good. Just trying to make sure that people can grow and helping people as much as I can.
Definitely, man. Your name always ring a bell every time we think about the Chamber of Commerce, man, and we'll get into that, man. Everybody's always saying, yeah, do you know Mr. Montez Jones? Yeah, I know him, man. He's trained, he's helped, oh my, phenomenal guy, man. So I'm super excited just to have you in the presence, man.
Appreciate it.
Live Wicks, man. So what's life been like for you, man? Any brothers, any sisters?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, I want to give you a shout out.
Oh,
if you don't mind. So, Live Wicks, we've been having a lot of programs here. So
yes.
And in moderating the panels and emceeing, this is a phenomenal place. So people need to make sure they come out and check you out. Maybe have an event here.
Yes.
Because we've had a lot of them, and just the from the projectors to the TVs to the stage like we're on now is awesome. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So to get back to your question, yes, I have an older sister. I had an older brother that passed early in his life. But for me, I'm the baby of the family.
So you're the baby.
I'm the baby.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. So you know how that can be.
Yeah.
So growing up was a trip and a challenge.
Really.
But for me growing up, I was a sports fanatic. I used to be so bad where I didn't want to lose. And if I lost, I would cry.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So growing up with them helped me to understand how it is in dealing with other folks. And my mom and dad, of course, took great care of us. And one of the greatest things I can remember about, childhood is my mom wanted us to be well traveled.
Yes.
And you didn't know that we didn't have a lot of money, but she took us, and mom and dad took us to Nashville, because I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, Nashville, Chicago. We went on a trip almost every year.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a good time.
You know what? My mom and dad always told me, she said, son, it don't take a whole lot. It don't take a whole lot to live.
Right.
It don't take a whole lot. So, man, respect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm appreciative of that. Louisville, Kentucky.
You got it.
Man.
Louisville. 17 years.
17 years.
In Louisville. Mm-hmm.
What was that like, man? And you've been the baby of the family, boy.
Yeah, well, Louisville, largest city, basically the largest city in Kentucky. People didn't understand, especially when I went in the Air Force, people didn't understand what Kentucky was all about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had one guy in basic training ask me, he said, I didn't know people in Kentucky wore shoes. I said, well, you know, Louisville is a pretty nice sized city. And at the time growing up, it was a nice sized city. Now it used to be like the 17th largest city. And it's probably changed now. But growing up in Louisville was a great time. Louisville Cardinals basketball was the thing to do. Kentucky Derby.
That's what I was gonna say. They, you know, people
just
think
got
about
finished with
the
the
horses
Derby
and stuff like that, and Kentucky just thinks about horses, cowboys, and all that type of stuff.
And then Muhammad Ali is from Louisville, Kentucky.
That's true. That's
so
right. Wow.
There's a museum there. Louisville Slugger. The Louisville Sluggers are made in Louisville, Kentucky. And also now we have Simmons University, which used to be Simmons Bible College. And Simmons University is now a historically Black college in Louisville, headed by Pastor Cosby, Kevin C. Cosby.
I did not know that. I learned something. I learn something every day.
Yeah, that's my adopted. I call them my adopted university now.
Simmons College. Wow.
Yeah, that's my give back.
So when you surround yourself with like-minded people, with like-minded people, guess what? You find out you continuously learn every day. Thank you for that. I did not know that, man.
No problem.
You know what? There's so much we can talk about it. We can talk about your years in the military. How many years did you?
26-year Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, served in the Air Force.
Man, what was that like, man?
Adventurous. I would say half the world, because Germany. I didn't get to go to Korea, but Germany was my spot. Panama, Illinois, Florida, Montana, Germany. So served 26 years. Started out as a cop, and didn't really feel like that was my calling. So went into equal opportunity, which was dealing with sexual harassment, discrimination, those type of things. But in that, in changing careers, I learned how to teach.
Yeah.
And learning how to teach, understanding how to make concepts simple for people.
Yes.
And then also make them fun.
Yes.
That helped me. And then I went into Airman Leadership School. So in the Air Force, all the E4s who want to make E5, so get their NCO rank, had to come through a school called Leadership School, which was 6 weeks long.
Wow.
So went into that and was able to teach how to lead, which even cemented what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And talking to them and teaching them how to lead and those type of things helped me to get where I am now. But then I went back into equal opportunity and finished my career as a strategic advisor down at Randolph.
Wow. Audience, I know you're paying attention. I know you're paying attention. You hear this right here. This man is a wealth of knowledge, a lot of experience. So we're going to get all the information you need to contact him here shortly. So let's jump right into it. Your journey. Every leader has a story. What led you to create TJTS leadership training?
Well, when I was in, every person in the military has to make that transition sooner or later.
Yeah.
And you have to make that decision. Do you want to go and work a 9-to-5, or do you want a business, or do you want to buy a business? Or, you know, I know some veterans go into franchisees and those type of things. And for me, coming out, I was thinking 9-to-5 was the way to go. Had one quote unquote retirement. I don't necessarily say that I retired. I say I graduated into something new. So when I got out, I started a 9-to-5, and that's what brought me to Arlington, the Army Corps of Engineers in Fort Worth.
Okay. No.
They gave me a job, and I already had my company, but being in the military doesn't teach you how to do business. So I did the 9-to-5 with the Army Corps of Engineers. They were great to me and for me, learned a lot. And then I started praying about it because I was doing some business on the side with Ted Jones Training Solutions with TJTS. And I said, Lord, okay, I need you to help me out. A grand overall designer, do you want me to do this 9 to 5 or do you want me to do business?
Right.
And the way I talk to him, it's like, you know me, I'm hard-headed. You
Right.
got to hit me over the head with the 2x4
Right.
to tell me which one you want me to do. And long story short, I met a guy, he was already doing what I wanted to do in business, doing it bigger and better. So I kind of followed him, and he took me, and I trained with him with his largest client. He allowed me to train his largest client sight unseen, just by the recommendation of a young lady that she's passed now, but she told him about me.
Wow.
So I trained his largest client sight unseen. We were walking down the hallway because we were in Galveston at the time. I said, so, tell me how'd I do? He said, well, you know what? You did great. I loved everything about what you did and how you did it and et cetera, et cetera. He said, but I'll tell you one thing, you underpriced yourself. I said, but do you understand that was just an audition? He said, yeah, but I do want you on all my contracts now. I want you to come in because we're going to start a program that we offer to organizations. And I was driving back through Houston because I was coming back to Arlington because I had to go to work the next day. I had to go work 9 to 5 the next day. So I was driving back and I was like, Lord, is this what you really want from me? And it clicked to me, sometimes he gives us the answer and we want to argue about it. And traffic in Houston too. So it stopped and goes, finally went, boop. It clicked. Came back 2 days later, I gave my 2 weeks notice. So
that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
That's how I got into it.
And just want to ask you this, man. And I don't know if we're speaking. I'm following you correctly. Is that the Maxwell agency? I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's getting right into that or coming directly to it. The Maxwell, Johnson Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell came along in 2011 actually. But I wasn't certified.
Okay.
So while I was in the military, another kind of crazy story, I was in Afghanistan and a guy knew I had taught Airman Leadership School. And at the time I was a senior NCO. And he said, hey, Montez, I got this class called Developing the Leader Within You Developing the Leader Within You. It's a book by John Maxwell.
John Maxwell, correct.
And I said, oh, okay. He said, I've been teaching it since I've been here. And I want you to take it over. And I'm a see it type guy. I said, well, let me come to your class. Let me see how you do it. And I'm sure I can kind of do something with it. He said, yeah, but I get on the plane tomorrow. Boop. And he put a whole binder down, and I still have that binder today.
Wow.
And so I started going through the binder, and it was a facilitator guide, participant guide, all that good stuff. And I started going through it, and I put an Air Force spin to it. When I put it out there on what we call share drive, I went to my cops first because I still love my cops. So I went to the cops, went to one of their leaders and said, hey, I got this class. Would you like me to teach it to the cops and you put some folks in it? He said, Montez, when you want to do it? I said, on a Sunday. In Afghanistan, most people work 6 days and had 1 day off, if they got 1 day off. So he said, I can put 10 people in it. I said, okay. The room fits 30. I put it out on the share drive. Within 20 minutes, I had 20 other people and a waiting list sign up for this class.
Wow.
And I said, wow, too. So I really had to be on my P's and Q's.
Yes, sir.
But So I taught that class and I kept teaching it while I was in Afghanistan. When I came back and I got out, then the Maxwell leadership team said, well, if you want to teach this, now you got to be certified.
You got to get, yeah.
So I didn't get certified in it till 2016.
Oh, 16. Okay.
Yeah, 2016. And now I'm an executive team leader with the Maxwell leadership team.
Wow.
So it's
That's
a part
amazing.
of my business. It's not all of my
It's
business.
not all of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that.
Certification that I hold.
I went to your website, man. There's a wealth of knowledge on his website. It shows you exactly what he does. It's not just, it is a lot of things you can just look up. You visit the website, TJTS14.com. Y'all check that website out. It's so much information. And look, y'all know me. I can shake his hand. I can touch him. Hey, I can talk to him. I got his number. Y'all know me. Hey, call me. Or I can give you information, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, we got it. Look, now when people hear leadership, it can feel like a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
How do you define leadership in a real practical sense?
Leadership is the art of influencing and directing people to accomplish a mission or task. That's the basic definition that I use in class.
Wow.
And we make that live, because when you talk about leadership, John Maxwell says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, and everything rises and falls on leadership. And when he says everything, he means everything, because the way I see it from growing up in Beverly and Donald's household to the military with the Air Force, going to the Army Corps of Engineers and working with them and going around with them. Now in business, it's everything. And business life, the way I look at it, it may be a buzzword, but if you're not leading yourself well, your business won't grow. If you're not growing yourself, your business won't grow. Organizations are the same way.
Yeah.
If the leaders are not leading themselves well and to me, some people use trust, honesty, and integrity all in the same sentence, which is really it's a process. If that's not happening, it's not going to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer. I always look at myself before I look at anything else. And I think, like you say, as far as being a leader, like you explained it, everything has to start with first self-motivation. So you got to self-inspect, you got to self-research. There's so much stuff that's embedded in you that you got to bring out of you to understand that whatever you do, you got to make sure, like you say, that you have to be a leader within yourself first.
Yeah.
So, man, that's wow. There are a lot of different lenses out there that people look out of. And I'm not talking about glasses. I'm talking about how they want to live their life. And leadership is at that top one. And that's a very, very, very small percentage. Very small percentage. You got follower lenses. You got victim lens. You got performer lenses. These different lenses that people look out of. And I can explain that, but that's a whole different conversation. But leadership lenses are huge, man. It's, how do you, like you say, motivate people to get out of that mindset that they might be in, and help them to develop and to walk out of your class or your training a different person? How do you do that?
Well, and I don't necessarily want them to walk out a different person. I want them to see who they are.
See who they are.
Because it's an awareness piece first. Like you said, some people are meant to be followers. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's not to be a leader.
True.
And what happens in our organizations is sometimes you can be, a lot of times, you can be the best widget maker in the organization. Oh, Montez, you can make them widgets, man. You are awesome with widgets. Look at you. You can make them faster and better than anybody else. Guess what? We're going to give you a team. And at that time, now is when you need to switch. You got to turn that leadership switch on because you were leading yourself and probably working by yourself. But once they put you in that leadership position, some organizations don't train you. I can train you to make widgets. Anybody can train you to do a task, but to be a leader is a whole different mindset. So when you talk about awareness, what is the awareness that you may have? Like when we do DISC, what's your personality awareness? When we do values, what are your values awareness? What's your emotional intelligence like? Because now they give you 5 people. Let's say I give you a team of 5, and you look at that team of 5 and you say, well, shoot, I used to be them working the widgets. Now they are making the widgets, and you got to teach them or coach them through making widgets. And that comes with a lot of patience. Leaders have to have patience because they're not going to be able to make them as fast and as good as you do. So, and then they're going to fail. You're never good the first time. And the leader would say, no. So when they leave my class, it's a part of awareness. Who am I? And self-awareness is one of the biggest parts of leadership.
Self-awareness. Wow. That's, Woo. I know y'all hear this. I know you're paying attention. I'm telling you, TJTS.14.com. Make sure y'all go and check out all that. So let's get into like a real challenge with leaders today. And I know you've been around a lot of people, right? What are you seeing leaders struggle with the most right now?
Connection.
Communication and connection?
Communication and connection.
Okay.
There's a difference between communication and connection. So communication, we're communicating right now.
And comprehension, right?
And well, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
That might come in the middle.
Okay.
Because we communicate through talking, through texting, through emailing. We do a lot of communication, but we don't do a lot of connecting. Gotcha. And right now, leaders are looking at AI to take over tasks. But we're connection driven. People are connection driven. AI will take a task. No, we're not built that way. So communication is what we're doing now. But as you and I talk more, as we get to know each other more, it goes into that realm of connection. So connection is stronger than communication. Somebody that I'm connected with can call me at 1 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, Montez, something's up. I'll get out of bed for them. Somebody that I just communicate with can call me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not answering the phone.
You look at me, I call them in the morning.
You know?
Yeah, I got
if the phone rings.
I got you.
So if my phone, if you're not in my favorites, then it might not even ring. So you got to get to that connection part. And when earlier you talked about motivation. First of all, we got to have self-motivation.
Correct.
So, but in order to get into that self-motivation, people have to connect with their people. So everybody's so worried about AI. We've lost that part of connection because we text and that's communication, but you can't get that feeling.
Can't get that feeling
in a text.
That's what,
and when we think about calling people on the phone is where we start to do more connection. FaceTiming is more connection based if you do it enough.
And I always speak. I'm like, man, you don't text me because I might not even see that text. Man, pick up the phone, call me, or even FaceTime and call me. Matter of fact, so I can hear your voice, so I can see how when you're sending that text, I can see how you really and truly feel when you speak that text to me. So I truly understand. The most connect, communication.
Let me put that something in that text too. So I get this in class all the time. Montez, I know when they sent that text, I could see they were sending that text. You could tell how they was feeling when they sent the text. I said, is is that them sending the text, or is that what you putting
What you
into it as you reading it?
Right.
That's what it is. So yeah, we could have an offshoot conversation about that.
Man. On the flip side, what does it take as a leader, man, in business? And I'm asking you these questions because as far as your training, people need to hear this. On the flip side, what does it take? What does it take to go from being a good leader to a great one? Because we've been around a lot of great leaders, man. We've learned from a lot of great leaders.
You got to start with being good. You can't skip that part of being good. A good leader, and I tell my leaders this: when you get into an organization, for the first 60 to 90 days, bring in coffee and donuts and listen. Coffee and donuts and listen. Coffee and donuts and listen. If people don't eat donuts no more, bring in something that they like and just listen. That starts out the good leadership. To become a great leader, one of the things you need to have is you have to have some type of coaching skills. Great leaders solve problems, but they allow people to solve problems on their own, like the Jedi mind trick. So when you get around a great leader, they're a visionary, but they can articulate that vision to you, and you may have a different communication or connection style than I do, and articulate that vision to me, and we both understand what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's not just about authority. It's about influence. So great leaders know how to influence without using their authority.
Correct.
You know, and when you look at that, like any great leader you look at or that you know, they don't have to use that authority on you, and they can give you a tongue lashing, and we'll think of it as feedback. One of the things one of the great leaders that I was under at the Potter's House of Dallas, Pastor Haley, and then I was just shadowing him, and as I shadowed him, I could see when he was really giving somebody a tongue lashing, and it would be with love, and I was just amazed. I said, this is just amazing to me. So when to go from that good to great is listening and understanding, and great leaders always understand that they're lifelong learners. Right. You can go to a great leader right now and probably ask them what book you're reading, and they can tell you.
Wow. That's crazy. That's weird, because I was just talking about emotional states and how do you get through to people without, although your tongue lashes them, you're lashing them, but how do you get through? And you just answered that question. Like being able to understand or articulate it in a way that people can understand without, because we deal with a lot of people that are emotional, man. Emotional. You talk about emotional intelligence. There's a lot of that missing right now, though.
It is. And emotional intelligence is knowing your triggers, knowing people say, well, I took that personal. Well, taking it personal means it hit me some type of way. First thing is self-awareness. Why did it hit me that type of way? Where did that actually come from? Because most of the things that we learn is as young people, not necessarily in our 20s or our 30s, but we have to do that self-reflection before we lash out at someone or something. And emotional intelligence is key. Right now, people are hiring for emotional intelligent people. Because like I said, I can train you to do this task or that task. But to be emotionally intelligent at the right times in the right places, and emotional intelligence doesn't mean that you're quiet and that you don't speak your mind. It's how do you do that?
Wow. That's powerful, man. Mindset comes up a lot in leadership conversation. How big of a role does it play, and how do you help people shift it?
Mindset and attitude are play a great deal, because your mindset is your mindset will tell you whether this is a challenge, an opportunity, or a roadblock.
Right.
I told the folks the other day, the folks sitting in the bleachers are not going to win the game. It's the folks that's in the game that's going to win the game.
That's right.
So, and your mindset may be, I'm a bleacher person. I just want to sit up here and yell and scream and yell. Basketball players, you missed that shot. You did this. Oh, it's the ref's fault. We blame so many people. So mindset helps business owners to be the best business owner they can be. And if you can't win the game with the wrong mindset. Or the wrong, and when it comes to attitude, you can't win the game with the wrong attitude.
That's true. If you're able to be coached, you're gonna win games.
Yeah, you got to be coachable.
Got to be coachable.
As a coach, I know, because I was on Zoom with my coach today. I'm a coach, and I have a coach.
You have a coach,
yeah. So, and I have a coach, and I have a few different mentors. So, when you look at mindset, and sometimes you need help with your mindset. Being a veteran and seeing some of the things that I saw and going through some of the things that I've been through, for veterans, I would always say you need a coach. You might need some other coaching outside of what we call life coaching, so just to help you out with your mindset.
Definitely.
And the things you have to go through.
Wow. So many gems. We're in a time where everything is changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technology, workplace culture, expectations. What do leaders need to be doing differently today?
We've always been in a state of change, and not think change is anything different. If you don't grow, you die. So what should leaders be doing differently? Understanding that their people are an asset. And with them being an asset, every once in a while, they need some training. They need some new tools to put in their tool bag. And not just new tools that we can get from AI. I'm saying new tools that we can actually sit down and talk to each other about. Experiential training is kind of what I do, and I gamify my training. So we have fun as well as we learn, and we do exercises, and we sit and have talks about, reflection. Here's your exercise. Now let's reflect on it. Those things help the connectivity, but also I believe in aftercare. I've learned from my clients, they say, well, Montez, what happens when you leave? Okay, here's what happens when I leave. I'm not gone. You're still going to receive some things from me. I just sent one of my clients a survey today to say, we're coming up on the 3-month mark of the training that I did. Here's some questions, some yes or no questions I need you to answer. Do you see a difference in your people? I asked them 3 very simple questions about the training, and if they see something that came out of it, now I'm waiting on them to come back, because if they say no, then it's time for a lunch and learn. It's time for me to re-engage with them. It's time for me to help them to see the value of what I bought. But I've been sending them emails since that training. So they received emails weekly about it since that workshop.
So one real example from, I know you get calls all the time. Can you share a transformation story for maybe one of your clients or maybe one of your customers with the audience, real short and brief, on how with your program, with your training, your program, and how they left completely different?
I got a few. Let me
I know you
share.
got some in the bag.
Yeah, let me share one. Well, a while back, actually it was BC. I say BC before COVID.
Mhm.
Before COVID, I did a class called "Put Your Dream to the Test." It's 10 questions to put your dream to the test. There was a young lady, she was high up in the GS ranks, that was going through it because she's a lifelong learner and she loved the teachings that I did. So she was in it and she said, well, Montez, I had a dream when I was younger to become a lawyer. I said, okay. And what I know, she confirmed it. What I know is we as adults, we have dreams until we have kids. If you have a kid, then usually your dream goes out the window. And once it goes out the window, now that the child turns 18 and you think, well, that dream has passed me by. She said, that was my dream. And her daughter was getting ready to go to college at the time. Well, she went through the class. I said, well, use that as your dream. And nowadays when I do it, I put an entrepreneur spin on it. But she called me one time and I was on my way somewhere and she said, guess what? I said, what's that? I signed up for law school. I said, what? She said, yeah, I registered for law school. I said, that is so great. She said, and I did it because of your class.
Yes.
And I think this month she should be graduating law school. Wow.
Big shout out. Big shout out to that. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's what we all need to look forward to when we take that step in our own life to make that change, the transition. I don't want to hold you too much longer. Let's talk a little bit about up and coming leaders listening right now. If someone just stepped into leadership for the first time, what's one piece of advice you give them? And they can actually look right there in that camera right there.
I think I already gave it to you. When you get there, don't change nothing.
Don't change it.
Just coffee, donuts, and listen. Go around talking to people and listen to them. Don't try to give them any advice. Ask them about the culture. What's the culture of this organization? What have you seen? What have you heard? What are the good? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly? And sometimes you may not hear that because you're a new leader and they know what position you will hold. I would also say if you're a new leader, there's 2 books I'd recommend to you: Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John Maxwell, and The Self-Aware Leader by John Maxwell. There's a lot of other books out there, but those are the 2 that I would recommend to you. So that's what if you're in a new leadership position or you're a new leader, I would say do that.
Awesome. So looking ahead, Mr. Montez, Mr. Jones, looking ahead, what's next for you? And what's your vision for TJTS over the next few years?
Well, right now I'm doing a lot of online courses. So it's called, I call it micro learning. So I'm getting ready to do a Put Your Dreams to the Test for entrepreneurs. That will start in June. And then I'm going to do Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. That's going to be virtual also. So there, John Maxwell vignettes, him teaching, and then also 6 power coaching sessions, group power coaching sessions where we get together. I got my Live to Lead Arlington coming up in October. So that'll be a 1-day, bring your team for a 1-day leadership development event. And that'll be in Arlington. So it'll be 1 day. Live to Lead Arlington is my 1-day event, but then we follow it up with 7 virtual lunch and learns. So October is the sit down event, and then November through May will be my 7 virtual 1-hour lunch and learns called Live to Lead Arlington continual training. So we can make sure we continue that growth with people. But what do I look forward to in coming up, I want to train for some Fortune 500 companies.
Mm.
I was blessed to be able. I'm blessed to be able to do some other corporate type teachings with the Maxwell leadership team. So those corporations that need a little bit of up level when it comes to corporate training, I'm looking forward to doing that, and then serving the people of Arlington, and I call it the Arlington Metroplex. That's Arlington, Texas Metroplex, not Arlington, Virginia. But I will come to Arlington, Virginia. So look to serving them and the new corporations that's coming into this area.
Yeah, Texas expanding. It's I mean, it's growing.
Yeah.
So many people are coming to Texas.
And it's a big change for them. So my Leading Through Change class, which is a great one. So, you know, when you come to a new place, there's some things that we can do to help you out when it comes to leadership and professional development. And then if you just want to have some fun, like I said, I gamify. Wow. I can gamify your training too.
That's what's up, man. Well, before we wrap this thing up, man, take a minute, look right here in this camera again. Yeah. Where can people connect with you and learn more about what you're building?
So you can connect with me at info@TJTS14, the number 14.com, info@TJTS14.com. You can hit me on LinkedIn. It's Montez Jones. You'll see my face. So it's Montez Jones on LinkedIn, Facebook, TJTS14 on Facebook. And then I have a YouTube page. You can look up Montez Jones. There's a few of them there, but just look for my face. You'll find Montez Jones. You can connect with me there. You can also, if you want to, you can go to my website. Once you go to my website, www.tjts14.com, you can leave me a message. You can see some of the testimonials and those type of things, and we can connect that way. And if you're in the government, I have a GSA contract, so it makes it easier for me to get to you or you to get to me. All right.
And there you have it, folks. There you have it. Well, Mr. Montez Jones, this has been a real conversation. Practical, inspiring, and honest. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective, man.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And for everyone out there that's listening, if you got value from this episode, make sure you share it with someone who's stepping into leadership or trying to grow in it. Until next time, keep leading and keep growing. It's a live Wicks Talk Show. Sharwick Reed. Y'all have a great, awesome day.